Have you ever caught him looking at you when he thought you weren't paying attention? Or noticed that subtle change in his voice when he's speaking just to you? There are moments that feel small on the surface but carry something deeper underneath. The unconscious doesn't perform, it reveals. Even when his words are measured or restrained, something inside him may have already decided. And that quiet decision might be you. What if the man who leaves you confused with mixed signals is actually feeling more than he understands? Sometimes the distance, the silence, even the awkward shifts aren't signs of indifference. They can be signs of emotion he hasn't fully processed yet. Real feelings don't always move in a straight line. They don't always announce themselves clearly. Often they surface through subtle behaviors long before they become clear thoughts. Deep emotion rarely begins with logic. It doesn't ask permission from reason. It just happens. A man may try to analyze it, downplay it, or ignore it, but his inner world starts adjusting the moment something in him recognizes you. The way he stands around you, the way his attention sharpens, the way his energy shifts without him realizing it. These are not calculated actions. They are natural responses. Many women mistake quietness for lack of interest, but sometimes silence means he is feeling something he doesn't yet know how to name. The strongest emotions can make a person introspective rather than expressive. Instead of grand gestures, you might notice small but meaningful changes. The way he listens more closely, the way he remembers tiny details, the way his presence feels different when you enter the room. Love doesn't always arrive loudly. It can move beneath the surface, reshaping thoughts and priorities quietly. Before either of you fully understands what is happening, something inside him may already be reorganizing. He may not have said the words. He may not even be fully aware of what he feels. But his inner world has started to shift. There's a psychological truth here. What we don't bring into awareness still influences us. When emotions stay unconscious, they show themselves through behavior. A man might believe he's being neutral, yet his actions reveal attachment. He might tell himself he's unsure, yet his body language softens around you. His attention lingers. His reactions become more sensitive. So how do you really know? Not through cliches. Not through analyzing every text message. The deeper signs are quieter. They show up in how his focus changes. Not the kind of attention meant to impress you, but the kind that feels natural and steady. He notices when your mood shifts, even if you pretend you're fine. He remembers small details you mentioned once in passing. He observes things others overlook. That kind of awareness is not random. When someone touches us deeply, our perception sharpens around them. We become more attuned. It's not forced, it just happens. He may not announce it, but you can feel it in the way he engages. His listening becomes more intentional. His eye contact lingers a second longer. His tone softens without him planning it. If something in these words resonates with you, pause for a moment. Not for anyone else, just for yourself. Acknowledge what you've felt but maybe doubted. Sometimes we sense what's real before we can logically prove it. As we go deeper, understand that this isn't about dramatic confessions. It's about the internal shift that happens when someone's presence begins to matter in a way that surprises even them. When a man feels something real, even if he hasn't labeled it as love, his behavior starts to reflect it. He may become protective in subtle ways. He may adjust his schedule without realizing he's prioritizing you. He may react more strongly to your distance than he expected. These are not performances. They are unconscious expressions. When a connection touches the deeper layers of someone's psyche, it bypasses strategy. It moves instinctively. He may try to maintain control outwardly, but inwardly, something has already moved. The key is to watch consistency beneath confusion. Mixed signals can sometimes come from internal conflict, not lack of care. If his attention remains steady beneath the surface fluctuations, if his awareness of you continues to deepen, if his presence feels engaged even when his words are guarded, there may be more happening inside him than he can articulate. Real love often begins quietly. It doesn't start with certainty. It starts with a shift, a softening, an awareness that someone matters, and long before he fully understands it, his soul may already be responding. That's why his attention feels different. It doesn't feel forced or strategic. It comes from somewhere real inside him. He doesn't have to see you every day to keep you in his thoughts. You may notice he randomly brings up something you said weeks ago, remembers a tiny detail you forgot you even shared, or checks in about something that mattered to you. He's not doing it to impress you. Something deeper is guiding him. His inner world is slowly processing emotions that haven't fully formed into clear words yet, but they're already influencing how he shows up. This isn't obsession or neediness, it's connection. Something about you has touched a place in him that now responds naturally. Another sign appears in how he acts around you compared to everyone else. Some men are consistent with everyone. But when a man feels something meaningful, there's a shift. He might seem softer, more open, maybe even slightly nervous. Real love doesn't turn someone into a polished version of themselves. It makes them more real. If he lowers his guard only with you, if the quiet moments between you feel comfortable instead of tense, that's not random. That's trust. That's emotional safety forming without effort. There's also a protective instinct that begins to surface. When someone matters deeply, their well-being starts to feel personal. He may ask if you made it home safely. He might remind you to take care of yourself or show concern in small, thoughtful ways. It's not about control, it's about care. Without fully realizing it, he has started including you in his inner circle of responsibility. Even if he hasn't labeled his feelings, his actions show that you matter. Pay attention to his presence. Sometimes he doesn't need to say anything because his energy already speaks. The way he looks at you when he thinks you're not noticing. The way his breathing subtly shifts when you're close. The silence that feels full instead of empty. That kind of quiet says more than dramatic declarations ever could. When feelings are deep but unspoken, the body often reveals what the mouth hesitates to admit. Watch how he reacts when others mention you. If someone compliments you, does something light up in him? If someone criticizes you, does his expression tighten? Even if he hasn't consciously admitted his feelings, his instincts may already be active. When someone's name alone creates a reaction, it means they hold weight inside that person's world. Effort is another quiet indicator, not grand gestures, but steady, thoughtful actions. The way he truly listens, the way he adjusts his time to see you, the way he apologizes sincerely if he feels he disappointed you. When someone feels nothing, they remain passive. But when love starts growing, movement follows naturally. Not from obligation, but because their inner life is already reorganizing around you. And here's something subtle but powerful. The shift doesn't stop when you're not around. His routines may change. He may seem more reflective or distracted. It's like something has been stirred inside him, and he's still trying to understand it. You begin to exist in the quiet corners of his mind, woven into ordinary moments that used to pass without thought. Because of this, it's important not to judge everything at surface level. Silence doesn't always mean absence of feeling. Sometimes it means he hasn't yet found the language for what he feels. This is where intuition becomes important. You can often sense the difference between distance and depth. When a man truly falls, the transformation is gradual but meaningful. Old defenses begin to soften. Patterns that once defined him start to loosen. Maybe he used to keep emotional distance. Maybe he valued independence above everything. But now, without forcing it, he starts making space. He shares parts of himself he doesn't reveal to others, not just stories but vulnerable truths, regrets, fears, private dreams. When he trusts you with those hidden layers, it means something inside him feels safe. And when a man feels safe enough to be seen fully, that's when you know his heart is already far more involved than he may ever openly admit. There's a certain kind of attention that just feels different. It doesn't feel strategic or forced. It feels natural, almost effortless. When a man is genuinely drawn to you, he doesn't need constant contact to keep you in his thoughts. You might notice he randomly brings up something you mentioned weeks ago, or he checks in about a small detail you assumed he forgot. Those things aren't calculated moves. They come from a place inside him that's quietly awake. He's not looking for praise or trying to score points. On a deeper level, his mind is already circling around you. Even if he hasn't fully sorted out his emotions, they're already influencing how he shows up. What's happening within him isn't obsession, and it's not neediness. It's more like a quiet alignment. Something about you resonates with him in a way that feels familiar and meaningful. That's why his actions seem unplanned but consistent. You've touched something that feels real to him, and now that inner response keeps expressing itself in small, sincere ways. It's subtle, but it's powerful. You'll also see it in how he behaves when he's around you. Some people treat everyone exactly the same, but when a man's heart is involved, there's a noticeable shift. He may seem softer, more open, maybe even slightly unsure of himself. Love doesn't turn someone into a perfect version of who they think they should be. It actually makes them more human. It lowers their defenses. If he relaxes around you in a way he doesn't with others, if the quiet moments feel calm instead of uncomfortable, that isn't random. That's emotional trust building itself naturally. There's also a protective instinct that starts to show up. When someone truly matters, their safety and happiness begin to feel personal. He might ask you to text him when you get home. He may remind you to take care of yourself or check in just to make sure you're okay. It won't feel controlling. It will feel thoughtful. That's because somewhere inside, he has started linking your well-being to his own. He may not fully understand why he feels that way, but the instinct is there. Without making a big announcement about it, he has already begun placing you within his inner circle. Sometimes, the strongest signs aren't spoken at all. There are moments when he doesn't have to say much, because his presence already says enough. The way he looks at you when he thinks you're not paying attention. The way his breathing subtly changes when you're close. The comfortable silence that doesn't demand to be filled. That kind of quiet isn't empty, it's connection. When feelings run deep but remain unspoken, the body often reveals what the mind hasn't yet admitted. Watch how he responds when your name comes up in conversation. If someone praises you, does something shift in his expression? If someone criticizes you, does he tense up slightly? Even if he hasn't consciously labeled his emotions, his reactions may already tell the truth. When a person's instincts activate at the mere mention of someone, it means that person holds weight in their internal world. He may not be ready to say it out loud, but his natural responses often speak louder than declarations ever could. Effort is another quiet but undeniable sign. Not grand gestures or dramatic displays, but steady, intentional presence. He listens carefully when you talk. He adjusts his schedule to see you. If he feels he disappointed you, he apologizes sincerely. Those small, consistent actions matter. When someone feels nothing, they remain passive. But when something real is growing, movement happens naturally. He doesn't make the effort because he has to. He does it because internally he already wants to. What many people don't realize is that this shift continues even when you're not around. When a man is deeply affected by you, the change follows him into his private moments. His routines may subtly shift. He might seem more reflective or distracted. It's as if something inside him has been stirred, and now he's trying to understand it. You begin to appear in his thoughts during ordinary moments. You become part of his internal dialogue. Even without physical closeness, your presence lingers in his mental and emotional space. That's why surface behavior can be misleading. Silence doesn't automatically mean indifference. Sometimes it means he hasn't yet found the right language for what he's feeling. Translating emotions into words isn't always easy, especially when they're deep and unfamiliar. This is where intuition becomes important. You can often sense when someone's distance is protective rather than dismissive. When a man truly falls, the transformation inside him is gradual but real. It's not loud or dramatic. It unfolds quietly. Old patterns begin to loosen. Maybe he once avoided emotional closeness. Maybe independence was his shield. But now, without consciously deciding to, he starts creating space for you in his life. He begins sharing parts of himself he normally keeps hidden, not just casual stories, but vulnerable truths, his regrets, his fears, the dreams he doesn't talk about with anyone else. When he trusts you with those fragile pieces, that's significant. It means he feels safe enough to be seen without his armor. And when someone allows themselves to be fully seen, it's rarely casual. Even if he hasn't spoken the words, even if he's still trying to understand the depth of it, his actions reveal that his heart has already moved closer than he may be ready to admit. When a man connects with you on that depth, what he's really offering isn't performance or image. It's his unfiltered self. He's not trying to impress you or prove how strong he is. He's slowly allowing you to see the parts of him that he usually keeps guarded. That kind of openness doesn't happen casually. It comes from trust that feels unfamiliar and powerful at the same time. At that point, it's no longer about flirting or chasing. It's no longer a game of who cares more. Something inside him has softened. There's a quiet surrender in the way he shows up, even if no one else can see it. And that surrender, subtle as it may look, signals that something meaningful has shifted within him. There's a quote often associated with Carl Jung about the soul needing a mirror to recognize itself. When a man begins to see himself more clearly through you, that's not small. Your presence reflects parts of him he may not have fully understood before. Around you, he becomes more aware of his own emotions, his patterns, even his hidden desires. That kind of reflection creates growth, and growth creates attachment. He's not just drawn to you, he's evolving in your presence. Another sign that's easy to miss is how he responds to your emotional world. Not everyone knows how to sit with another person's feelings, but when he feels deeply connected, your emotional highs and lows start to affect him. When you're genuinely happy, you'll notice a shift in him too, like your joy sparks something inside him. When you're hurting, even if you try to hide it, he senses it. He may not always have the perfect words. He might not directly ask what's wrong, but you'll feel it in the way his tone softens, in the way he lingers closer, in how he tries to be present, even if he doesn't fully understand what you're going through. That instinct to stay, especially when emotions are complicated, is one of the most sincere expressions of care. What speaks even louder is what happens when you're not physically there. Pay attention to how often you come up in his conversations. Notice if he saves little stories or moments just so he can tell you later. If something meaningful happens and you're the first person he wants to share it with, that says everything. When someone continues to think about you without any immediate reminder, that connection is rooted deeper than surface attraction. It means you've settled into his inner life. What lingers in absence often reveals more truth than what's expressed face to face. This isn't about playing guessing games or trying to decode every small behavior. It's about learning to feel what's real beneath the surface. Love rarely arrives with a clear explanation. It doesn't always come with dramatic confessions. More often, it shows up in consistent patterns, in energy, in the subtle pull that keeps bringing him back to you. There comes a moment when, without even announcing it, he begins to rely on your presence in a quiet way, not out of habit, but because you bring balance into his life. He may not deliver poetic speeches about missing you, but you'll sense a shift when you're distant. He might seem unsettled. He might reappear just when you start pulling away, finding simple reasons to reconnect. This isn't desperation. It's that inner pull that doesn't operate on logic. Once real emotion takes root, it quietly influences his choices and impulses. You'll also see it in how much he starts valuing your perspective. He'll ask what you think about his ideas or plans, even when they don't directly involve you. Not because he needs approval, but because your opinion genuinely matters to him. You've become someone whose insight carries weight. He may open up about uncertainties or fears, not expecting you to solve them, but because being honest with you feels safe. When a man feels he can drop his guard and speak freely without being judged, that's a powerful form of love. It's built on trust, not perfection. Listen closely when he talks about what's ahead in his life. Sometimes he'll speak about future dreams or plans, and without even realizing it, he includes you in the picture. It might be subtle, just a small shift in wording, but it reveals that in his imagination, you're not temporary. You're already part of his mental blueprint. Those spontaneous glimpses into his future tell you more than any rehearsed confession ever could. When a man starts looking at you as if losing you would cost him something real, the shift goes deeper than surface behavior. It's not just about texting more or showing more affection. His internal world begins reorganizing itself around you. You're no longer just someone he spends time with. You become someone essential to his emotional stability. You'll notice how he prioritizes you in ways he doesn't announce. Even on chaotic days, he finds a way to check in or show up. Not because he feels obligated, but because being connected to you brings him peace, and peace is often overlooked in conversations about love. Passion is loud, excitement is obvious, but peace is quiet and steady. When he feels calm and accepted around you, when he knows he doesn't have to pretend or hide his flaws, he starts associating you with safety. That's when something even deeper happens. He begins aligning with you naturally. He takes interest in what excites you. He listens more closely to your dreams and thoughts. He doesn't abandon who he is, but he makes space for what matters to you. That alignment isn't forced, it's organic. It's what happens when someone begins to see you not as an addition to their life, but as an integral part of it. And when that shift takes place quietly, steadily, without dramatic announcements, it's often the most authentic kind of love there is. He slowly discovers that sharing his world doesn't take anything away from him. It actually adds something meaningful. The things he once kept private, his thoughts, his routines, his dreams, begin to open up naturally around you. This isn't accidental. When two people truly connect, the walls between them don't crash down dramatically, they gently soften. And in that softening, real intimacy forms. It goes beyond attraction. It feels like recognition, like meeting someone who feels strangely familiar, even if you can't explain why. There's a quiet sense of belonging that doesn't need a label. It just exists. Pay attention to how he speaks about you when you're not there. You may never hear it directly, but in conversations with others, he defends your name. He protects your image, not to earn credit or appear noble, but because somewhere inside, standing up for you feels natural. When someone starts to guard your reputation in your absence, it means you matter in a deep way. Love doesn't always make noise. Sometimes it doesn't speak at all. it simply acts. And the kind of care that shows up quietly, without witnesses, is often the most genuine. If you notice him adjusting parts of his life without making an announcement about it, don't dismiss that. If he starts considering you before making decisions, if he looks out for you in ways that seem instinctive, that's emotional truth unfolding. Often, it happens before he fully understands it himself. There's a space where emotion grows before logic and fear step in. That's where the purest form of love begins. It doesn't ask for attention. It simply takes root. When you look back and realize how much he's changed without trying to, that's when it becomes clear. His silence, his gestures, his presence start to say more than any dramatic confession ever could. Real love rarely arrives with fireworks. It usually shows up as steady care, as consistent warmth, as tenderness that doesn't demand recognition. When a man loves you more than he consciously realizes, his deeper self has already chosen. His thoughts are just catching up. There's a truth inside all of us that reveals itself through actions long before words form. If you've seen these signs, if you've felt something steady and undeniable between you, trust that feeling. Doubt often comes from the mind, trying to analyze what the heart already knows. The deepest connections aren't built on grand promises. They grow in subtle shifts, in the way his priorities begin to rearrange, in how he gravitates toward you even when it would be easier not to. When someone reshapes their inner world to make space for you, that's not surface-level affection. When his energy feels different around you, and even when you're gone, that's not coincidence. When he allows you to see him without armor, that's love before it's spoken. It's a recognition at the level of being. If you're still here reflecting on it, it's probably because something inside you feels that resonance too. Not loud or dramatic, just calm and steady. You start to understand that love isn't always about intensity. It's about presence. It's in the pause when he looks at you a second longer than usual. It's in the way he remembers something small that you mentioned in passing. It's in how his energy shifts the moment you enter the room. What others might see as ordinary feels meaningful to you. That's because this kind of love isn't built on fantasy. It's built on awareness. There will be moments of doubt, there will be quiet stretches and unanswered questions, but even in those spaces, something remains, a steady thread that doesn't disappear. What grows from the deepest part of someone isn't easily broken by fear or time. Sometimes two people who are still healing meet and recognize something familiar in each other. They don't try to fix or complete one another. They simply walk side by side. He may struggle with his own insecurities. He might question whether he's enough. But if you watch closely, you'll notice that even when he's unsure, he doesn't fully let go. Even when he pulls back slightly, he returns. That's because somewhere within him, you feel like home. And when someone finds that feeling, it changes them. It's no longer about clinging. It becomes about choosing. You become a mirror for him, reflecting both his wounds and his strengths. Around you, he remembers who he is beneath the noise of expectations and fear. That calmness he feels with you isn't just comfort, it's trust. We only lower our guard where we feel safe. So when he shows you his doubts, his flaws, his contradictions, understand that it takes courage. It's easier to perform strength than to reveal vulnerability. While many people chase loud, dramatic love stories, what you're witnessing is different. It's steady. It doesn't need to constantly prove itself. It doesn't promise impossible things. It quietly builds something real. There may be moments when he questions himself or steps back to think, but even then, the connection doesn't disappear. It remains like an invisible thread drawing him back. Once someone's deeper self has chosen, the rest follows in time. If you feel the shift in him, if you notice the way his presence leans toward you, you're not imagining it. You're recognizing a subtle language that only open hearts understand. This kind of love grows slowly, like something planted carefully and allowed to bloom in its own time. He might call it coincidence or chemistry. He might not yet name it love, but inside him, something has already awakened. It's what makes him think of you for no reason. It's what makes him defend you without planning to. It's what makes him prioritize you naturally. That isn't taught behavior. It rises from within. If the day comes when he finally says the words, it will likely be because you allowed things to unfold at their own pace. Because you didn't force clarity before he was ready. Mature love doesn't rush. It moves in rhythm. Sometimes one person steps forward while the other pauses. Sometimes both move together effortlessly. In that rhythm, something real reveals itself. The most authentic parts of us don't live on the surface. They rise quietly from within, through emotion and instinct. That's where true love exists, in the place untouched by masks or fear. So if you see him changing, if you feel his priorities shifting and his energy softening around you, believe what you're witnessing. He may not fully understand it yet. He may not have the language for it, but something inside him already does. And if you feel it too, know that you're standing in something rare, a connection built slowly, sincerely, until one day it no longer needs to hide.